Hi, I'm Chef Steve. Welcome to the Care Kitchen, where we cook with kindness. This program is brought to you by Comfort Care and At Your Side. Comfort Care and At Your Side provides personal care for people throughout the United States and Canada. Our program is featured every Thursday, and we come at 1 p.m. Eastern. And it's just a pleasure to be here with you today. Today we're going to be featuring some concepts and recipes from the Care Kitchen Cookbook. And please visit comfortcare.com. Under the Senior Nutrition section, you'll be able to read some very good information. And also, if you give us your email address, you can download some information right there at the website. But today we're going to be featuring a recipe from the Care Kitchen Cookbook, and this is under the section for cooking with dementia. Any clients that you may have who are living with dementia, this is some really good tips and concepts. That section of the cookbook is located on page 78. If you have a copy, you can follow along with what we're doing today. And on page 82, we're going to be working on the sandwich construction recipe, which is really more of a technique for engaging with that person living with dementia. This is a great activity. It's an activity of daily living, cooking and eating, so we can make it fun and engaging with these concepts. So I'm going to start off and show you what I have set up here. And I've made a little buffet. This recipe is called Sandwich Construction. And it's all about engaging with that person that you're caring for and getting them to participate and enjoy this activity. And also, it's a real great opportunity for some conversation and some reminiscence, because everybody has some memory associated with their favorite foods. And certainly with summer coming on, and it's May, and this is May Day Memories, that's the name of our show, because I'm going to be featuring a great hoagie that brings back memories to me from growing up in Philadelphia. And I always remember May Day every year I would have that. So we're going to get to that in a little while. But right now we're going to start on working on our sandwich construction. So take a look at what I have set out here, and we're going to get started. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, so let's get started. You see, we have our lunch meats out, we have our cheeses, we have all of our lettuce and onion and tomato, pickles, mayonnaise, I have some mustard here, and we have some bread. So we're going to, the concept here is that we're working with that person in our care. And to the extent that they can do part of this, that's great. Even if they're watching you do it and telling you, oh, I want some of that, I want some of that. The main thing is we don't want to have too many options, because too many options gets confusing. So really we want to have a couple of options. And that's what we have here, so that that person can really feel empowered to engage and not get confused. And it's really up to you to kind of gauge how that interaction is going. How are you engaging? Is that person engaging? Are they resistant? What can I do? The main ingredient that we always stress in the Care Kitchen is the main ingredient is kindness. That's why we're cooking with kindness. So I'm going to get started. And first thing I'm going to do, I have some bread here. I'm going to take 2 slices of our multigrain bread. So whenever possible, we try to use multigrain bread, because it does have more fiber in it. Fiber is a very important part of nutrition, especially as we age, because it helps to keep everything moving. So fiber is really important. Whenever we can get some fiber in the diet, it's really a great thing to do. So in this case, we're going to decide what kind of sandwich do we want to make. So I have out here, I have some ham, I have some salami, and I have bologna. Now the reason I have those there today It could be any meats you like. It could be turkey, it could be tuna salad, could be anything at all, liverwurst, whatever that person in your care likes. Now, if you were making a sandwich for me, I would want these meats that I have there. So those are my preference. So that's why I select them. So for the sake of making our sandwich, we're going to make a ham sandwich, ham and cheese with lettuce, tomato, a little bit of red onion, and some mayonnaise on the bread. So we're going to get started. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is put our cheese. So I have two types of cheese here. I have a smoked Gouda and I have an American cheese. So in this particular case, let's select American cheese. So we'll get our slice of American cheese and we'll start putting our sandwich together. So let's cover that bread. We have 2 slices of American cheese, and really constructing a sandwich, it doesn't sound like a major construction problem, but if you put the sandwich together correctly, it's going to hold together, and that's one important thing. So what I do usually is put the mayonnaise or mustard on the top slice of bread. We'll make our sandwich so it doesn't get soggy on the bottom, and that's an important part, especially if it needs to just sit around a little bit. You don't want to get that bread soggy. Okay, the next thing I'm going to put on is our ham. So I'm going to take some of this nice sliced ham, and I'm going to put that on there, put a little more just to give it a little more body. You want to put a couple of ounces on a sandwich. That's a typical portion. 2-3 ounces of meat. 3 ounces is a good amount between the meat and the cheese. Okay, so I have our cheese. I've got our ham. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on some sliced onion, and I have that here. And needless to say, I'm working with my hands. You can use gloves, but if you wash your hands, remember 20 seconds with warm soapy water, according to the CDC, your hands will be sanitized. So make sure that you wash your hands, of course, before doing any of this. Okay, so I've got some onion on the sandwich. I'm going to put some sliced tomato on next. And now I'm going to top that off with some nice shredded lettuce. I like to shred the lettuce because I think it's easier to eat that way. It's easier to make the sandwich. Now I use typically romaine lettuce. This is shredded romaine lettuce. I get the romaine hearts. Most supermarkets have them. They usually come 3 small heads. And I find that that's very good. It's crunchy. And a lot of people like the lettuce crunch of iceberg, but the romaine gives you the crunch, a little more flavor, and much better nutritional value as well. Okay, so now we're ready to spread mayonnaise on our bread. Get that on there and just cover it. Don't make it too heavy. And of course, this is a preference. You know, the person that you're working with, your client or your family member, they may enjoy a little more mayonnaise. They may like some mustard on their sandwich. These are the choices that we have. Okay, so I'm going to just show you what this looks like a little closer before we put it together and finish it up. So now we're going to close up our sandwich and we're going to cut it and we're going to put it on our plate. So here we go. Close it up. Looks like a nice hearty sandwich. And we're going to cut that in half. I like to cut it on the diagonal. It just seems a little fancier. Just make sure that you press down to hold it together. Okay. So we've cut our sandwich in half. Now, one of the things that we can do, and you can take a look at that sandwich on the inside, that looks very tasty. One of the things we can do if someone has trouble holding a half of a sandwich, very simply, just make another cut and We'll cut it into quarters, put that on our plate. Looks like a beautiful sandwich. You know, sometimes a half a sandwich is enough, depending on the appetite of your client. And you know, when people age, appetites diminish. So this is why it's especially important to make sure that whatever we're preparing really has that wow presentation. It really steps up the game with our presentation. Now this looks very nice cut in quarters. Of course, we could serve chips or whatever we'd like with it. I've got some pickles here. I'm going to just put a few pickles on the plate, dress it up, and have a nice little accompaniment with our sandwich. Of course, you could serve a nice salad, potato salad, coleslaw, any type of salad. And in future shows, we're going to be working on some various salads that would go great with this sandwich. So let me show you a little closer what this sandwich looks like, and then we'll move on to our next project, which is going to be an Italian hoagie, May Day memories. So let me just show you what this looks like. Okay, so let's put our sandwich aside for a minute. And our next project, and this one is not in the cookbook, but this is one of my favorite sandwiches. It's a hoagie. What I grew up with in Philadelphia was the term hoagies. But as I traveled around the country, hoagies, submarines, hero sandwiches, grinders, there's all kinds of names depending on the region that you're in with this type of a sandwich. So a hoagie, one of the main things, of course, is the hoagie roll. I've got a nice roll here. I've sliced it. I'm going to cut it open it up, and I'm going to start my sandwich. And I just want to tell you why this memory is so strong for me. This was from elementary school. Every May, we would have May Day and the maypole and a May Day celebration with a fair in the schoolyard. And one of the local stores was an Italian grocery store, and they would always supply the hoagies. And I always looked forward to that because it had some flavor, special flavor that I really liked that I would look forward to every year. So now I figured out what that was, and I'm going to share it with you here, but I'm going to make my favorite May Day memory Italian hoagie. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to spread some mayo on this bread, give it a little moistness, a little base. We're going to spread it on the hoagie, and this is going to be a hearty sandwich, and I'm going to enjoy this today for lunch. So that's a special bonus of sharing these programs with you. I get to eat it for lunch, so that's kind of fun. But I just want to remind you again, we're here every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern with our program, Care Kitchen, Cooking with Kindness, brought to you by Comfort Care and at your side every week. And I encourage you to go to the Comfort Care website under the Senior Nutrition tab. There are some great information, and also you can download some recipes and information about ingredients, food safety, sanitation, all those kinds of issues that are so important when we're cooking for our loved ones or our clients, especially living with dementia. So anyway, I've got my hoagie roll ready to go with the mayonnaise. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some cheese on there. So I've got some smoked Gouda cheese here, which is a little variation on what I grew up with, but I really like it. So I'm going to put some smoked Gouda cheese on this. And my next ingredient is going to be my meat. So I have a few different things here. And this is what they put on that famous Italian hoagie that I like so much. So there was some ham. So first thing I'm going to do is put a couple pieces of ham on here. There was bologna, which still today is one of my favorite things to have on a sandwich. So let me get a couple slices of bologna on there. Okay, and salami. This is the Italian salami. It's delicious. Genoa salami. You can get it at the grocery store. And again, this is my favorite thing. You may have your favorite as well. Feel free to make it. And of course, when you're cooking for someone you're caring for, let them engage with you and say, oh, I remember that. I want to make one of those. Let them help you to the extent that they can. And they can also watch you do it. Okay, so I've got my meats on here. Next thing is a little bit of onion. So we've got our nice red onion. Red onion I use for sandwiches because it's a little milder. It's also very attractive. Okay, next thing, some sliced tomato. Okay, and lastly, we've got some nice shredded lettuce. The problem with this sandwich is going to be closing it up because we've got so much good stuff on here. Now, the secret ingredient that I want to show you that goes on this is something called a hoagie dressing. What it is it's olive oil, vinegar, salt and pepper, and oregano. Oregano really gives it that flavor. So we're going to put a little of that hoagie dressing on there. You see the oregano coming out, and that really steps up the flavor. Okay, now closing it up. So what I find is if you take a knife and put it in there, you can get it to close up pretty well. And then we're going to cut it in half. And wow, that looks great. I'm going to show you what that looks like here in just a second. But you can see that nice hoagie. It's a beautiful sandwich. And let me just give you an idea of what that looks like on the inside and a little bit closer. So let me just show you that. Okay, so that is a beautiful Italian hoagie. Mayday memories, what I remember. And I want to encourage you that this is a great opportunity to really engage with someone in your care, especially someone living with dementia. It's a simple activity. It is an activity of daily living because we have to eat. Cooking can be a lot of fun. I know I had lots of fun putting this together for you. I encourage you to do this work with your clients. Remember, this section of the Care Kitchen Cookbook, it's page 78. Our sandwich construction recipe is page 82. We're going to be going through on these programs, always featuring a recipe from the Care Kitchen Cookbook, as well as just having some fun and doing something that's not in the book, but it just shows you if you use your creativity, you can come up with anything, especially when you know what that person likes. And also for yourself. I made this for myself today because it is really one of my favorites. And I'm gonna take a little taste of my hoagie. Delicious. And it tastes just like what I remember. So it brings back those great memories for me. And that sparks a lot of other memories beyond just eating the hoagie. And it's a great platform for conversation and really getting to know that person you're caring for. So again, I'm Chef Steve. This is the Care Kitchen where we cook with kindness. We're here every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And I look forward to having you join me again. It's been tons of fun today. Remember to visit comfortcare.com and download your free information and recipes. Come back and see me again next week. I'm here Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to enjoy my lunch now. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for joining me.